Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. This is Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, and the song is their final song on side 4, entitled Sick Again. Very, very appropriate, man, especially in my case because I'm sick right now. Got a little congestion going on. Excuse me for that. Excuse me for sounding not myself. But it's not going to stop us, man. So let's do this reaction, man. Closing off what is definitely, arguably, their greatest piece of creative works in the Physical Graffiti album. So let's check this out, man. Sick Again. Sick Again. Let's get it. He's going off in those drums. John Barman. is a very sexual song. Wow. Their musicianship, man, slays me every time. These four guys, I've said it so many times already, it's just an uncanny pairing of four guys that just makes a sound so distinct and unlike anything else I've ever heard before. It takes those four, it's a collection, it's a collective, you know, like the Borg. They're all so sunk into each other so well. Each instrument had its own moment. Each member shined brightly. All right, aside from the great musicianship and their ability to create whatever the hell they want, this is a good example of that. This song is a very, very sexual song. It's obviously dealing with the subject matter of probably a whole bunch of women in their lives who want to be a part of their life. Maybe they're a bunch of groupies. And these women are, I guess they've fantasized about them since they were very young. It mentions 13. And, they tease their hair to the moon and polish up their lips and all of that sort of thing just to sneak into the hotel paradise and get with a rock star. Obviously, they want to launch a career of some sort and they have ambitions of their own. So that's what this song is obviously about. Very, very straightforward. How fast you learn to slide downhill, or the downhill slide. That's an old Navy term that we used to use. And we used to speak in code to describe our time ashore. Oh man, she was great at the downhill slide. That means, in layman's terms, just being a dog for a moment here, that means that the lady eloquently, when she's standing in front of the man, how she can slide down and go straight for his fly, right? And some just drop to their knees and some do it in such a great, eloquent way. And so you hear the stories after the sailors return, and I guess the best stories being told are the ones about the ladies who eloquently knew how to slide. Anyway, going back to my Navy days. So that's a coined phrase that I recognize. And so that's what these gents are singing about. They're singing about their life on the road, encountering all of these different women and all the temptations of being a rock star and all of this sort of thing. So, man, yeah. And again, takes me back to my original point about this album. Their sixth studio album, it's a double. And at this point in time now, really in a sense, it's 7 albums along. They are very, very aware of their creativity, of their talent, their skill, their ability just to go in any direction they want because they have that skill. They're confident in themselves. Even singing about something like this, that they're going to create something good. This was a masterful jam, man. And it wouldn't surprise me if they just knocked this out within a weekend. Boom, done. That's how on point they are at this stage in their creative career. Fantastic, man. I don't sound like myself. Forgive me for it. I sound like, I sound so congested. Sorry if it might be a put off for some of you. I get it. It's certainly putting me off a little bit. So, let's do a quick read anyway, man. Check out a little background on Sick Again, see what we can learn. Yeah, I just got my Wikipedia up here. So, Sick Again. Sick Again is a song by English rock band Led Zeppelin from their 1975 album Physical Graffiti. It was written by Robert Plant about underage teenage groupies, or as he called them, the LA Queens, with whom the band were acquainted on their 1973 US tour. A groupie would try to have sex with band members, sometimes in search of her own fame. Lyrics. Plant took pity upon these girls, who would flock to the hotel rooms. In an interview he gave in 1975, he provided an explanation of the lyrics. Quote, "It's a shame to see these young chicks bungle their lives away in a flurry and rush to compete with what was, in the old days, the good time relationships we had with the GTOs and people like that. When it came to looning, they could give us as much of a looning as we could give them. It's a shame, really. If you listen to Sick Again, a track from Physical Graffiti, the words show I feel a bit of sorrow for them. Clutching pages from your teenage dream in the lobby of the Hotel Paradise, through the circus of the LA Queen, how fast you learn the downhill slide. 1 minute she's 12, and the next minute she's 13, and over the top. Such a shame. They haven't got the style that they had in the old days, way back in '68. Unquote. Wow. You live a fast life as a groupie, and you run the circuit, and before you know it, a year later, you're just done. You're old news. You're just discarded. You're old. Right? Live performances. Led Zeppelin frequently performed Sick Again in concert during the 1975 and 77 tours. It was often the second song they played. A performance from the 1975 or 1979 New Birth Festival is included on the Led Zeppelin DVD in 2003. The song was dropped from the band's tour over Europe in 1980. Page performed this song on his tour with the Black Crowes in '99. A version of Sick Again performed by them can be found on the Live at the Greek. Okay, yeah, just a very, very short, 2 short paragraphs on Sick Again, not much info. Yeah, man. Yeah, teenage groupies. Wow. Crazy, crazy, fast-ass life. Not exactly your finest hour, lads, messing with teenage groupies, whether you did or whether you don't, whatever the case may be. But hey, here's a question for you, man. Out of interest to this crazy-ass celebrity life, what about celebrity wives? You know, surely they know what they're signing up for when you marry a rock star, or when you're married to an artist. He becomes very, very big, very famous, goes on the road, has lots of success, lots of fame and fortune and all of that sort of thing. You're at home, he's on the road. Obviously, he's got a tremendous amount of temptations, a whole whack full of groupies swarming all around. You know, why do they stay? Or why do they proceed into a relationship where they know that their man is on the road and more than likely probably mixing it up with a whole bunch of different women? Just asking a question. Why do they stay? That's my question. So, man, what I'm looking forward to here, where Led Zeppelin is concerned, is I'm looking forward to getting started on their 7th album, that being Presence. And my goal for the end of the month of December, by the end of the month, is to have at least 2, maybe 3 reactions in. And that would really, really put me in a really good timeline way to make room for other things like my complimentary quads, which I've been slacking on, also my Patreon exclusives, and a couple of other things too. I let a few things slide in the form of my different categories of reactions, like Gone Too Soon, One Hit Wonders, my Ladies in Rock. So a couple of different things like that I'd love to put back on the calendar. Admittedly so, though, there's a lot of room being taken up by Artist of the Month, where I'm doing a lot of full album reactions. Full album reactions takes a tremendous amount of time, and so it's squeezed out quite a number of these different categories. So yeah, that's what's happening, to be real with you about it. And a lot of people have really just digging the hell out of the full album reactions, but it's at a cost, just so you know what's going on in my world. Some people have said to me, hey, I don't like that it's just always full album reactions now, and these categories aren't being utilized as much anymore. Maybe you should do Artist of the Month every other month, all of that sort of thing. Good suggestion, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with Artist of the Month every single month. Because remember, it's about me too. It's about me and my personal journey. And the Artist of the Month really gives me some great deep insights. It takes me really deep into the catalog, the story, the sequence. When you're doing full album reactions, you get the big picture. And some of you, if you're going to judge me for doing full album reactions, just remember one thing. You might have been one of those people directing me to do full album reactions for Pink Floyd. Remember, right? So full album reactions, getting that whole collective experience of the artist, is very important. I've come to realize the importance of it. And now that I've seen and got a feel and a gist of how important it is to follow these songs in sequence, back to back, the way that it was intended to be listened to from back in the day, I've come to accept that as being very important. So I'm going to continue with it. I'll just have to try a little bit harder to hit those categories as much as I can, but it's just not going to be as frequent as before when I didn't do full album reactions. And that's just how I'm going to do it going forward. You're going to have to accept that. So please don't slay me. Please don't criticize. It's just another page in my growing, in my evolution, right? And it isn't just about providing you with reactions. It's also providing me with the background and the edification and the education and the experience, right? So it's about me too. I just want you to remember that before you start throwing darts at me. But anyway, man, hey, back to Zeppelin. I want to really get into a little bit more of their backstory in regards to this time period when, just after physical graffiti, they started to get into all manner of things that just kind of threatened the survival of the group. What I'm talking about is Plant had a tremendous accident, life-threatening accident. He barely survived and he was wheelchair bound. I believe that this upcoming album, Presence, he recorded while he was in a wheelchair. Page was getting into heroin. John's drinking was out of control at this point. And Jonesy was playing around with the idea of leaving. So there was, in between that time span, there's a lot of story there to uncover. There's a lot of information there, I'm sure. So please bring that information to me if you are sitting on this knowledge. From the beginning to the end, when the cracks started forming and gaping open, I want to know about that stuff. I want to know if you know what started this whole thing. Who got Jimmy started on this crazy ass heroin trip? Was it just the pressure of having to crank out more hits? Did he run with the wrong people and somebody just decided, hey man, try some of this, and then he was hooked? So if you have information like that, that's what I'm after. So the stories behind the music, the story around the times of the music when it was being created, the atmosphere, if you will. So if you know that sort of thing and you have reference sources to that kind of knowledge about them, let me know, because as I'm listening to the music, I'm always wondering, what did they go through to bring this song to us? How many pains, how many sacrifices, what was happening in their lives? Lots of distractions, but even throughout all of that, it seems that they managed to hold it together long enough to at least give us another album or two or three. And according to a lot of you, even though that it might not be their greatest, it's still pretty damn good, being Led Zeppelin. And a lot of you, I made a statement, and a lot of you agree with this, that even their worst material, someone could take all of their worst songs and have a successful career on their worst. So let me know what reference sources that I could look at to kind of educate myself in regards to that time period, their low point, I guess. And that'd be very, very interesting to see what was happening in their lives, in their minds, in their souls, that sort of thing. So that's the juice of the fiber that I'm after. Anyway, so I'm just scrolling down to my notes here now, man. So I'm going to do the next side 2 of Fillmore East. That's the Allman Brothers Band. They're the artist of the month for December. And You Don't Love Me is the song. So that's start kicking off side 2. I'm going to get on that right away. I'm going to do Steely Dan's, what is it, their 7th studio album, Gaucho. I'm going to do that, get that going within the next day or so. Also, I'm going to jump on my complimentary quads, as I said, and my Patreon exclusives. For patrons who have been with me over the last couple of months, if you have not received your complimentary quad from me, that means that I lost the links and the information that you sent me. So please get a hold of me, get back to me, and I'll be sure to get right on that complimentary quad. I did some stupid shit, and my whole reactions calendar was lost. Well, not the whole calendar. Sometimes I actually have the person's name, and sometimes I actually have the name of the band or what have you, but I don't have the full information, like the quads, the songs, that sort of thing. So it's trying to pair together what I'm missing. But it's just easier for you guys just to get back to me. And I don't consider that pestering if you just send me a, hey, Wayne, I fall within that category, and here's my complimentary quad once again. Just send that to me, and I'll be grateful to do it, and I'll get on it right away. All right, man. So that is my reaction to Sick Again. I hope I didn't ruffle anybody's feathers by asking these very serious questions. What about the celebrity wives? Not their finest hour, messing with teenage groupies. I know that some of you are crazy fanatical Led Zeppelin fans. Geez, man, some of you still haven't forgiven me for not posting the reaction of the Crunch. Give me a break. So, yeah, some of you are crazy fanatical Led Zeppelin fans. And so if I've ruffled some feathers already with that, I'm giving you a half apology. But yeah, man, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about these guys, because it's a learning experience. It's an example for any aspiring new potential rock star going down the road. He can easily see, hey, this is where these guys did great. This is where they slipped up a little bit. I'm going to make sure that I remember this, so that when it's my turn, I'm not going to make those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's a good thing to discuss these things, even if it's not your finest hour. They're public figures, and basically everything that is out there in the media is basically open for discussion. So let's discuss it. What about celebrity wives? Why do you think they stick around, knowing that what they're signing up for? Why do they do it? Anyway, stuff like that, man. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed my reaction. It was a short one, and I'm definitely going to get on to the next. Sorry, I don't know what the first track is for presents, but I'm going to get on that within a couple of days. And my goal, like I said, is to get at least 2 or 3 reactions for presents done before the end of the month. Wish me luck. All right, have yourselves a good one. See you later. Peace.